Hey Google, set a timer for 10 minutes.
All right, 10 minutes. And we are starting now.
Hi, it's Saturday the 13th of June 2020 and this is my weigh-in update for Slimming World. Got a bag on my shoulder and in this bag is the amount of weight I've lost this week. I'll reveal that shortly. Last Sunday I got a text from my consultant to say that I was joint Slimmer of the Week last week, and that's a little bonus. It's an encouragement to keep going for me. I'm not worried about certificates and bling because I can't see them, but just a text like that that says, you know, you were joint Slimmer of the Week with another member. I'm not going to name the other member, that wouldn't be fair, but it's an encouragement to keep it going. And today is my 19th day actually fully on plan. I got a text last night from my consultant to say, you're Slimmer of the Week again this week, Jane. So I'm glad I kept it going because there's another encouragement to keep going for next week. 19 days on plan and it's working because I'm working it and because I am on plan. Now, I watched a video of Debbie's this week. I love to watch her live videos on a Thursday morning with her weigh-in, and something she said quite surprised me. Some people don't like the term on plan. Now, I do like that phrase because for me it's a positive. Because when I'm not on plan, and I am choosing to follow Slimming World. Slimming World is my thing. I'd love to be cut in half and look like a stick of rock. It says Slimming World all the way through now. I've been at this for over 5 years. I need to know I am on plan if I want to get a weight loss. If I'm in a maintenance journey, I still need to know I'm on plan because otherwise I just gain. Maybe it's because I've been fat for such a long time. Maybe it's because I've got so many empty fat cells that want to refill themselves, but I have to remind myself that being on plan is the only way for me. And when I'm not on plan, I'm off plan, and when I'm off plan, I'm gaining weight. There's no status quo there. In America, one of the phrases they use, which I quite like, is compliant or non-compliant, but I think I prefer on plan or off plan. So today is day 19 on plan. And I got weighed in yesterday because I weigh on a Friday, but I have actually weighed this morning. I still weigh the same, 9 stone 11, which is a weight loss of 2.5 pounds. And this is to illustrate my 2.5 pounds. And for those people like me who can't see, I'll tell you what I'm taking out of my bag. The first thing I'm taking out of my bag is a Gallia melon, which weighs £2, 1.5 ounces. The second thing I'm taking out of my bag is a little tin of peas, which makes that weight loss up to 2.5 pounds. So let me hold them up together. These two things together, a Gallia melon and a small tin of peas weigh 2.5 pounds. That's what I've lost this week. And it's a nice feeling not to still be carrying it around because it is substantial. Never underestimate even a £0.5 pound loss because you will feel it. You know, eventually, if those £0.5 pounds keep dripping away, we will feel them. And certainly, that, which weighs just over 2 pounds, you can feel. Right, food this week has been in a good place. Much more focused on free food. And when I say free food, I mean non-animal, non-dairy free foods. And there is a plethora of things that you can eat that don't have to come from animals, so I don't need to be snacking on packs of ham, hard-boiled eggs like I used to do. I don't need to be relying on, you know, meat and chicken and fish and tuna and all that. I've let go of all that. But what I am eating is much more in the way of grains, whole grains. And this is something I used to be quite fearful of and I never used to pick up very often. And Joe's trying to get me into different grains, like I've had brown rice noodles, brown basmati rice, and buckwheat. And that's the first time I've really had buckwheat. I think I've tried it a long time ago. But what it reminded me of, you know the little balls that are called giant couscous? So you get the, like in the Slimming World Moroccan couscous that you can get from Iceland. A buckwheat little grain is about the size of one of those balls, but it's much more whole foody inside. And if you soak it overnight, or for even 6 hours, and then you just have to boil it for about 6 or 7 minutes and strain it, you don't need to put salt in, you've got a whole grain. And for me, these things are filling They're also good for your bowels, so you know I'm not having problems with constipation anymore. And what I took was 75 grams of buckwheat, soaked it, cooked it, and mixed it with half a tin, sorry that's my washing machine finishing, mixed it with half a tin of the Stag fat-free or low-fat, whatever it is, the vegetable chilli, which you can buy in the supermarkets for about £1.80. And that, for me, I had a few Brussels sprouts with it, was a really good, substantial, filling meal. So much so that I had fruit for my dessert and I couldn't eat it because I was too full. If I'm eating that kind of food, I'm feeling better. I really am feeling better. I've got more energy and more enthusiasm because I think I'm better fueled, whereas before I think I was often well fueled but I was undernourished. I think you can be that. I think you can eat what you think is a balanced diet of the wrong things and you can feel full, but it doesn't last very long quite often, but also you can be quite undernourished. I was watching something on YouTube which was talking about the fact that most of America is undernourished and overfed. I find that whole subject very interesting because we focus on calories and we think it doesn't matter what those calories are made up of. But what I'm learning from what I'm reading, and a brilliant, brilliant book I'm reading at the moment is Dr. Michael Greger's How Not to Diet. He's got another book, How Not to Die, but How Not to Diet. And it's the science behind weight loss. It's an interesting book. It's not a book you'd go out and buy if you weren't interested in understanding how and why we can lose weight, gain weight, or eat an unhealthy diet. It's not a book that's going to tell you this is a plan for losing weight. You know, if you want that, you could buy loads of different diet books. It's just an interesting book explaining why a lot of these things happen or don't happen. So yeah, I'm getting much more into looking at what I'm feeding my body and the results I get from that. I'm still doing the Slimming World plan, I always will, but I'm much more focused on free food. I'm still having a B choice, I'm having one A choice at the moment because now I'm not eating cheese and I can't like just cut off a 30-gram piece of cheddar or something. I'm at a bit of a loss what to use my second A choice on. I don't need to use it on milk because one A choice is more than enough for milk. So yeah, and I'm not like big into yogurt, although having said that, of course yogurts wouldn't be an A choice, they'd be Sims. Yeah, and I am having 5+ Sims a day, but I'm having to focus on getting those in because I got to the end of one day and hadn't had any, and Joe's like, well that's fine, just add some hemp seeds. Yeah. My God, they're lovely, tiny little seeds but quite nutty. So now what I'm doing is putting things like hemp seeds into my porridge, with or without kale. I'm putting, let me get it right, Joe, milled linseed into my lunch. And these things, if you have half a tablespoon, are like around, I think, 1.5 Sims. So you have a tablespoon, you push it up to 3 Sims, and then I have like, I wouldn't have 40 grams of porridge, I'd have 60 because I'm a bit of a greedy, so to say. I like my food. And so I can use an extra 3 Sims there, but I'm finding I'm having to look for things to use my Sims on, which suits me that way because then I'm using savvy Sims. I'm not wasting them on chocolate and crisps and things, which for me would be a waste, and I'm only talking about me, remember. So yeah, the other thing I've done this week is change my breakfast out because I've been watching a lot of channels where they recommend having a savoury breakfast. Now, some mornings I do have tofu, but then I would have fruit with it. So I was thinking savoury breakfast. So Joe makes a really good ratatouille, which is totally speed, I think. It's aubergine, let me get it right, a largish aubergine, a largish pepper, usually red, orange or yellow, 2 good sized courgettes and a tin of good chopped tomatoes. When I say good chopped tomatoes, I find if I buy like organic chopped tomatoes, or there's a tin that Aldi do actually, which has got herbs in, which is quite thick. I can't be doing with watery tomatoes. If you open a tin of tomatoes and it's all water, ugh. I like lumps of tomatoes. So you mix those things. You mix your aubergine, your 2 courgettes, your large pepper, your tin of good tomatoes. You put in some garlic. We bought lazy garlic this week, didn't we? Because we couldn't get any garlic powder. And I use fresh garlic a lot, or fermented garlic. And you put in cumin, which we absolutely adore. You put it on the stove, you bring it up to heat, you turn it down to simmer, you leave it for an hour, and you have got a pan of totally speed ratatouille. You can put onion in if you want to, but we prefer it without. Stop. We prefer it without. Now, the thing that made me smile when I say having a savoury breakfast, botanically, all of those vegetables are fruit. The courgette, the aubergine, the pepper and the tomatoes are all botanically fruit, but culinarily, because that's the right word, is there such a word? In a culinary fashion, we treat them as vegetables. So I'm having a savoury breakfast, but in effect it's fruit. But we use all those things, don't we, in our cooking, and we call it veg. And with that, I would have half a big tin of some sort of beans, not baked beans, I don't eat baked beans, but this morning I've had black-eyed peas. Yesterday morning I had half a tin of organic mixed beans. The fibre and the filling power of that will keep me going from 8 o'clock in the morning till lunch about 1:30, and I don't think about food in between. So that's where my plan is going, much more towards free food. But it's Slimming World, and you can do it in whatever way suits your lifestyle, suits your food taste, suits your habits. So that's me for this week. Lost 2.5 pounds, got slimmer of the week, and feeling on top of the world. So see you next week. Bye.